Hi, I'm Christine Rico. I'm the founder of Dream Bigger Ventures. In this photo is a college-educated man who struggled to find meaningful work in the Philippines to support his growing family. So when presented with the opportunity to move to the US for a job, he took it. And he remained separated from his wife and children for 7 years. It wasn't easy, but after lots of hard work, sweat, tears, prayers, and by God's grace, all the details worked out so that the family could be reunited again in California, where they remain to this day. Not a perfect family, but one that's committed to loving one another and sacrificing for one another, and most importantly, passing on a legacy of faith in Jesus to the next generation. And you guessed it, this is my story. I'm the youngest of 8 kids, all of us born in the Philippines, in Pampanga. Shout out to anyone from Angeles City, Pampanga. And at the age of 3, my family and I moved to California, which is where I grew up. And then eventually I attended New York University and began a professional career based in Silicon Valley. And I learned many things throughout my journey, and especially during my time in Silicon Valley. But one of the big takeaways that came to life for me is how to think different. And yes, I got to spend time learning at Apple and getting to launch new products and services and digital and physical experiences in new markets as part of the Apple team. And ultimately, one of my big takeaways from this whole experience is that businesses that put people at the center of everything that they do, people meaning putting their customers at the center of everything, putting their employees at the center of everything, will outperform in the long term. And not only that, but in the process, we'll have the chance to maximize human flourishing. And that's what excites me about businesses and creating new businesses, and the potential for creating businesses like this in the Philippines is what really fuels me. Businesses that will put people at the center of everything that they do. And I wanted to share with you an example of a business here in the Philippines that brings this concept to life. Watch the screen.
My life as a child, I can say that it's poor. We are poor.
I met a foreigner. He was saying that I can take care of you and I can give you a better life.
I was 14 years old. I was working in a bar.
He asked me, do you want to work at spa? I answered yes because we have nothing to eat.
And I didn't really know that you will go with that customers and have sex.
She was recruiting us to take nudes from us, and then she will have money from the foreigner.
I told the manager, I'm just 15. And then I was forced to do some things because of money.
But then as time goes by, he introduces me to a cyber sex, wherein I sit in front of the camera and he would ask me to do stuff while someone is on the computer.
My mother, she wants to see what kind of job. Then she noticed that I'm pregnant. And then in the... Sorry.
Then as time goes by, the foreigner guy said he would post my pictures all over Facebook, on social media, if I don't have actual sex with some strangers that I don't even know. I was 21 with my 1-year-old boy, pregnant with this foreigner's child. And it really gave me an awakening message that, hey, it's a baby girl, it's a girl. Do you want this to happen to her? So it's like, it stick to my mind that, no, I know how hard it is to have this kind of life, and I don't want her to go through. Like, that's it. I don't want my children to experience what I experience. And I don't want them to witness how my life is. I just want to have a better life. It was in the middle of the night. The foreigners sleep, where I pack my things with my baby and already pregnant. And we were in the middle of the streets, carrying my luggage. I went to a friend. I asked her if I could stay there just for a few days. And they took me to the shelter.
It was like any other Sunday. I go to church together with my family. We sit in the same spot, blissfully unaware that it's the start of a sequence of events that would change my family's life and the lives of the people that we employ now.
The church was doing a sermon series on social justice. And as part of that, they invited different guest speakers to share their work, and one of those was around rescuing women from sex trafficking.
What captured me was a deep appreciation of where God stands in terms of justice, how He roars out when there is injustice, and He compels us to feel the pain that He's feeling and to do something about it.
Philippines is the global epicenter for online sexual exploitation. And that's because of two main factors. One is access to, cheap internet, and the other is the ability of the population to speak English so that it's easier for them to find foreign customers. And after meeting some of the organisations involved in rescuing victims of trafficking, we soon realised that some of the aftercare components were quite lacking, particularly in regard to sustained, decent employment.
It seemed a bit convenient that once you rescue, it's mission accomplished and everything else will fall into place. I knew that one of the greatest needs that they would have would be a stable and well-paid job.
The vision, therefore, was to develop highly skilled professionals from the survivor population. I'm a family physician, and I also have a Master of Public Health. So my work involves both clinical practice and program development and management.
I was working in Deutsche Bank in the global technology and operations area, so I had been thinking about computer-based work. So a digital media outsourcing service catering to clients all over the world. And we provide long-term digital careers in a workplace designed specifically for survivors of trafficking and abuse.
Perhaps we wouldn't have done it if we knew how hard it was going to be. And as hard as it has been and some of the pain that we've carried, it doesn't compare in any way to what they've experienced and the ongoing struggles that they still have.
After it was dark, nightmares, I stayed in that shelter for a year. And as soon as I get out of the shelter, they invited me for an interview.
The intent from the very start was to work with NGOs and those who are operating shelters. They're providing basic housing, sanitation, education. But at a certain point, it needs to translate to work. And that's where we come in. Most of the people that we employ, day one, they have very basic literacy, numeracy.
Honestly, at that time, I have no idea what is Microsoft, what is Excel.
And then they interviewed me. I don't know even a computer.
But in my mind, they're gonna train me anyway. So I know Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, and PowerPoint.
The first 5 weeks is intense. And within a short period of time, through our training program, take them to a point where they're editing photos.
Nexter Photos is the main client. They do the shoots in the US, uploading these photos into our delivery service. We deliver around 4,000 edited photos daily, making sure that there are no flash shadows, no reflection of the photographer. Everything's properly aligned. There would be sky replacements depending on the client's preference, and the professional quality of the work, and being excellent, just pursuing excellence in the things that you do. That's one of the principles that our employees pick up from Nexter Photos.
Before, I thought that I'm dumb. But now, I feel proud of myself that I can do this.
It's not a usual supplier-customer type relationship. There's an underlying depth to that, which is the social impact. And that social impact is conveyed through the metrics that we provide, but also when Nextdoor Photo employees speak to our team and experience firsthand the change in the lives of our employees, that makes a profound difference.
It's not just like we provide a job and it's all good and it's a happily ever after. When we provide a job and an income, there is a resurgence of the pressures and some of the dynamics that led to trafficking in the first place, such as abuse at home, alcoholism or mental health issues, or family members that will come back into their lives and want money. There's an enormous amount of financial pressure that they have to deal with when they start working. So we have the business, and alongside that, I have a small foundation called Renuncia. So my team and I provide support and services into the workplace to help the employees be successful here and also in their personal lives. And so we are trying to create a predictable workplace so that when they come in, they can relax. So things like the relaxation exercise, we've scripted and sort of institutionalized that.
It's time for the 5-minute relaxation exercise.
In our data, we see that 40% come with still active PTSD symptoms, and many also have just general anxiety and depression when they enter the workplace.
Notice any stiffness in your neck, tensions in your head and face.
Trauma damages their ability to focus, pay attention, and the work here requires a lot of sustained attention and focus on detail.
Start to wiggle both your fingers and your toes. Open up your eyes.
And we feel like the actual work itself repairs some of the damage done to their brain or their cognitive processes. So it's like a form of prolonged exposure therapy in many ways. We expose them to incremental levels of stress whilst providing them the skills to manage that stress by using formalised training programs and then also workplace counselling and also nursing care. We're not just trying to prevent the manifestations of trauma, we're trying to create an environment where they recover. And my increasing belief is that, the workplace can and perhaps even should be the major site for recovery and reintegration.
I want my children to be proud of me. I just have to grab the chances that were given to me and take it.
So they come from a situation where they feel that there's no hope and there's not much to look forward to. But despite that, they take that first brave step to apply to this company. And then we walk this journey together.
So we can decide for ourselves what successful recovery and reintegration looks like, but ultimately they are going to be the experts in their own journey.
The first goal that I put in my mind is that 1 year from now, I will be promoted. After 1 year, anak kay nanajugo sa lain nga stage sa kwan sa akong ginabuhi.
Although those challenges, those memories, it's still in me because it's part of my life. But I don't lose hope. I am happy with what I am now.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are all here today to celebrate our 6th year anniversary. Let me call in Sir Sam.
6 years ago, Mindy and I could not have foreseen all of the problems, the heartaches, the stress and the challenges, right? But we could not also foresee the joy, the triumphs, the wins, and you. Each one of you have an incredible story inside of you. You see an individual that's scared and afraid, and you invite them to come into the company. And you see all of the systems and workplace structures and culture that we created. But at the end of the day, you can see them sitting at their desk, having a good chat with one of their co-workers or team leaders and smiling and laughing. And you know that they're doing better than where they were at the start. And to me, that makes it all worthwhile.
I didn't get any salary in the spa. But now I have my salary, I have my benefits. I just feel family here.
I really see God in this working place.
We know each other's stories like family because of this job. It's just I feel God in me.
And in fact, realize how important my life is, like how valuable I am.
1, 2, 3.
were inspired and encouraged by that example of a people-centric business that's operating right here in the Philippines. And what if it could be possible that all startups in the Philippines could operate in this way, creating intentional workplace cultures and products and brands that truly put people at the center of everything? But you and I know that oftentimes there's a tension, right, between product and profit and people. And we know that as startup founders, you are constantly having to navigate all of these different tensions. I've been trying to grow the business so you can help as many customers as possible. And it's not easy to navigate what might feel like a push and pull between people and profit and product. But Dream Bigger Ventures is committed to doing everything that we can to help founders who desire to grow and scale people-centric businesses. We desire to really eliminate those points of friction to help enable you to become a people-centric business while you're growing toward profitability. And ultimately, as Dream Bigger Ventures, it's our hope and our dream to see all Filipinos to be empowered to solve seemingly impossible problems, like Regenesis did in the video, seemingly impossible problems, and empowering them to successfully build the future that they wish to see for themselves and their families right here in the Philippines. And that's something that's very personal to me, given my story and the fact that my parents had to make that difficult choice many years ago of either staying in the Philippines together, but remaining underemployed or unemployed, or one parent going abroad in order to provide for a better future for their family. And I hear this story way too many times, and it's something that I wish to transform in my lifetime. And what will it take to get there? I believe that to get there, we will need to shift culture and mindset and continue to work together to accelerate our local entrepreneurship ecosystem, to give more Filipinos that freedom to grow and flourish as entrepreneurs. And for me, more specifically, as whole life leaders who will have the character, the community, and the competency to solve seemingly impossible problems right here in the Philippines with startups and ventures that are going to transform culture and communities all around the globe in our lifetime. And so the Dream Bigger Ventures proof of concept started in 2019. I launched a pitch competition for Filipino youth, which invited them to do just that, to identify a problem, imagine they had access to the ultimate venture capitalist, dream big, and pitch a for-profit venture that would radically transform Manila in their lifetime. And the students rose up to the challenge and they took full advantage of that opportunity. And it was a lot of fun. And the interesting part is that the adults wanted to pitch too, and the event wasn't even for them. But all that said, this project for me over 2 years ago served as our initial proof of concept for what would eventually be birthed this year, 2021, as Dream Bigger Ventures. And we're excited to keep growing and scaling to be able to help as many Filipino founders as possible take their ventures to the next level while growing as whole life leaders who will succeed in leading themselves, their families, and their ventures. And so I am thrilled and excited to be able to serve all kinds of different founders here in the Philippines, including some of those that you see on this screen. Yes, we work with startup founders, but we also have a diverse portfolio working with social enterprises and creative enterprises. And we want to really help as many Filipinos as we can. And how do we serve our founders? Through community and knowing that you're not alone. And this community is lifelong. Even beyond the pre-accelerator or accelerator programs, we will be here for you and continue to support you as a part of a global community. And we provide leadership training, tailored mentorship to help you at your specific stage of your venture, to help you get to that next level, facilitating partnerships, potential access to other markets, and of course, access to values-aligned capital. And this is really important to us in that the founders and the funders share a common why. And that's why I shared with you today my story and what my why is. And so if you share that, this big dream to help create 10 million careers right here in the Philippines so families can flourish in our country and be empowered to build the future they wish to see, I invite you to come join Dream Bigger Ventures. Come check us out in the virtual booth or join me in an interactive session, and let's dream bigger together. And I look forward to meeting you.